This episode of the KrakCast is brought to you by our friends at BigDoor24.pl. It's a new free service dedicated to helping expats to rent or buy a property and earn cash back on successful mortgage applications. BigDoor24.pl also has lots of tips and advice on renting and buying in Poland, so make sure you check them out and use the special promo code KrakCast to get a great cash back offer. And now, on with the show.
Happy Easter from the KrakCast. You feeling festive, Mike?
Really festive and full of chocolate. I'm kind of constipated right now. I don't know what to do with that.
We'll get to chocolate. So before we start, let's have a little discussion about what we're here to talk about today. This is a special episode all about Polish Easter. And Easter in general. Differences, things that we found when we came to Poland about Easter, etc., etc. To kick it off, Mikey.
Did you just say etc.?
No, I didn't. But
you should have.
Yeah, there was a clear Easter pun just waiting to be.
A little egg that I missed, but you picked up on.
I did.
Right, Josh. English Easter. Start us off. What do you remember growing up?
Chocolate. I think it wasn't my first Easter or even the second or third, but when I was about age 8 or 9, I think my parents perhaps wisely decided to take off the brakes and allow me and my sisters to eat as much chocolate out of the eggs, etc., that we'd been given, with the consequence that we all felt terrible by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Didn't want to eat chocolate again for several weeks and never, ever wanted to eat chocolate to excess.
Eating chocolate to excess is one of life's great pleasures, especially with lots of milky tea. And I mean, that's the first thing, I suppose. You both mentioned chocolate straight off the bat. It's just there, straight in your subconscious. We should share this with anyone who's ignorant of Polish customs. The Poles are not really into Easter chocolate. Chocolate doesn't really play a significant role in Polish Easter, Mike.
I mean, treats and stuff like that were always part of the holiday.
Not a big enough part.
Chocolate, especially in the kind of Western commercialized form, didn't really happen here until a few years ago. I mean, you could always get treats and chocolates and eggs, a long time, cakes, etc. But it wasn't to the mass market mechanism that you have in the West, where it's all about the chocolate eggs, and every year it's like, what's going to be the filling of choice this year around?
Every corner has a fancy new Galeria on it, which proved incredibly resistant to one of the greatest sights in Western consumerism, row upon row of shiny chocolate covered eggs. And where are they, Mike? Where are the eggs?
They're only popping around now, and they're just not a big deal. I mean, we should remember that the Easter is not, springtime Halloween. It is actually a holiday that's supposed to commemorate the basis of the Christian faith, which has built Western civilization for the last 2,000 years. So, for all you Christians out there, actually you all know, but for all you non-Christians, Christianity is based on the fact that Jesus died for the sins of humanity and came back to life. It's the first zombie movie, and this is the basis of the religion and the belief structure. And it's kind of forgotten about and turned into a big chocolate fest.
And if you came back from the dead, Mike, would you want a cup of tea and a beautiful Cadbury's chocolate egg, or, a painted boiled egg that's not bleeding news to anybody?
I don't.
Put yourself in our Lord Saviour's shoes.
Although, of course, I mean, Bill Hicks famously made this kind of joke that, Christians were using the symbol of the cross and everything, and thinking kind of like, really, when, Jesus came back again and all he saw was people wearing kind of this symbol of his kind of, painful death, it'd be like, Jackie Kennedy being kind of constantly exposed to images of, sniper rifles.
Like a Ford convertible, yeah.
Lincoln, I think, but yeah.
Okay, we've gone off track quickly. That was good for us.
Well, you're right. Yes.
So let's pull it back to what makes Polish Easter special. I suppose we'll stick with first impressions of the outsider, for the start. Everything shuts down at Easter. Now, that's changing a little bit, so a little caveat there. But when we first got here, 10, 15 years ago, I mean, Easter weekend, forget about it. Like, everything was shut. I mean, total shutdown of the city. Talk to me about that, Mike, about the element that everybody in Krakow goes home at Easter.
Yeah, Krakow is a huge college town. A huge proportion of people here are young people that just come here for studies. So whenever
It's like a zombie apocalypse at Easter.
yeah, it's like it's Saturday, it's Sunday, and the streets are empty. You're right. It's like a zombie apocalypse. It's just like you can hear the wind blow, and you're expecting somebody to run up behind you and try to eat your brains. And I always felt sorry for the stag nights I used to come here. Expecting they're hearing from all their friends that Krakow is a fun town. And, it's parties, strip clubs everywhere.
Every good zombie movie needs a comedic element, and there is nothing funnier than watching a stag party land at Easter in Krakow and realizing that everything is shut and they can't get a drink anywhere but a hotel bar and a couple of little places that I'm assuming that they always could get a drink. If you want to drink bad enough anytime.
Yeah, but you're definitely not spilling out to the streets and mixing with the locals on Easter weekend.
And all the shops are closed. Everything. This would always happen. We'd only close, say, the Monday in the bar. So we might open for a little bit on the Sunday, or we close Sunday, Monday. I think would be the more regular arrangement. But you'd see people arriving every year on the Friday, expecting to have the party of their lifetime, and just going.
All their friends telling that like it's like Las Vegas, yeah.
But Josh, what were your first impressions? When was the first time you spent, say, a traditional Polish Easter here?
Oh God, I know, a long time ago now. It was, it just sounds bad, really. I have to say, but like, having a plate of food that was like, uncooked, and a painted hard-boiled egg and some salad didn't stack up well compared to the sort of near Christmas dinner type experience that I was used to kind of back in England. A big roast and and then loads of chocolate afterwards. So.
Apparently, egg painting can be traced back to talismanic pagan rituals that are over 5,000 years old, and it's done across medieval.
Pull something out of my ass.
Other Slavic cultures. Mikey, what are your memories of egg painting as a child?
Well, even though I'm Polish,
Did you stroke your eggs nicely?
Yes, and dyed them different colors. This is part of my family history.
Are they smooth?
Not to talk about. No, actually, I'm Polish, but I was raised in Australia, and Easter there was more, say...
Painting eggs, mate.
Yes, eggs. With an eye.
It was more akin to, like, say, English traditions in the public forum, but at home, yeah, we did the more Polish thing.
You went on the chocolate eggs.
I saw lots of chocolate eggs. I had no issues with that. But we painted eggs or dyed eggs, but that was actually done on the weekend, and they were hard boiled. So like you would get the eggs, but you didn't really want to eat them. It's like, what was the point? I'm so glad we have Cadbury's in Australia. That was my thought. Moved to the States then. That was even more chocolate. It was like insane. It was, like I said, Halloween in the springtime. But my parents kept a lot of the Polish traditions going. One of the main Polish tradition is actually blessing an Easter basket, święconka, which is basically a basket with a little bit of bread, salt, eggs, ham, all these things that you would serve during Easter breakfast the next day. You would take that to church on Saturday. There actually is no mass on Saturdays in Easter. You just have like the
snacks in church. I approve.
Well, you don't actually eat them there.
Why not?
Well, it's church. That's
well, hold on. I mean, you go to communion to have a bit of a bite to eat and a drink.
Yes,
a wafer of unleavened bread.
Yeah. It's not a wafer. It's actually the body of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, that's that Catholic thing. I'm sorry. As a heathen Protestant, I have.
It's like, okay, let's not get into religious warfares right now, right here.
Come on, Mike. Its flavour profile is questionably bland. You have to admit.
True. All right. Yeah, it tastes like chicken. But in Eastern Poland, yes, you take the basket.
His body's over 2,000 years old. It should have some flavour.
It's like an old beef jerky-ish or something like that, dried out nicely. And... this is going the wrong way. So you have the basket at church. It's blessed by the priest, and you take it home. And the next day, during your Easter breakfast, that'll be served to the rest of the family. And there's one thing you actually do with the hard-boiled egg during Easter here. It's kind of the same as with the wafer during Christmas. Everybody gets an egg. They break the egg, and then they share it with everybody else.
Yeah, I like that tradition, the sharing of the wafers. The passing them around,
here,
making a wish.
Yeah, you make like you wish the person to have a good year, wealth, health, happiness, etc., etc. So it's a nice little tradition that I didn't really pick up on it in any in the US or in Australia.
I think it's really nice that Polish people keep these dinner traditions, these little, the way the courses are arranged, the different types of food that you eat, there's something great about it. Even if, the first time you're eating all the food, you're thinking like back home, it's turkey, isn't it? I mean, and ham. Oh, no, not at Easter. Do you have anything special at Easter?
We used to have turkey most of the time.
Turkey at Easter as well?
Yeah. But I think just because there'd be a lot of people around for dinner and a turkey is a big
would you do
thing.
this on Easter Sunday or Easter Monday?
Easter Sunday.
Oh, because in Poland, it's Easter Sunday is just like the breakfast brunch thing, which is a big deal. And then Monday is also you have an Easter lunch. And this is usually more when Sunday being more family oriented, Monday being more like friends and family. So it's a wider range of people coming over and actually having a lunch, dinner kind of meal, kind of more Christmassy.
And there's always good matches on the Premier League on Easter Sunday. You can go and get pissed because you're always off on Monday. It's a beautiful holiday. It's one of my favourites. I think maybe we lost the traditions a lot of Easter. Christmas is still a huge thing. There's still lots of, sacred traditions, about the way Christmas is done. But Easter feels to me like maybe in Ireland we let it slide a little bit. It's just more of a few days off and, a chance to, take some time out and pig out.
You wretched
go to the pub.
heathens.
Although they did find some kind of agreement on Good Friday. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Good Friday, we recently, right, interesting thing about Ireland and Easter is for 90 years we had a booze ban on Good Friday, so all the pubs were shut, So this used to cause this embarrassing phenomenon of queues around the corner at off licenses around the country on Easter Thursday as everyone stocked up for the one dry day of the year.
Oh my God, I can't drink for 24 hours.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look.
Stockpile.
Yeah, the pubs are closed, but the off licenses are literally empty. But so we got rid of that last year. So that was momentous Easter news from Ireland.
Actually, now that you mention this reminds me of something. When we moved to Australia, my dad says one of the things that really shocked him was on Easter. He was driving a cab then. He drove around and he was picking up a bunch of drunk people. For him, it was just unfathomable on Good Friday and on Saturdays for people to be completely drunk. And they seem to be, drunk more often than on any other weekend of the year.
It is a day off. It's a long weekend at the end of the day. That's what I kind of, if you're going to get drunk, you want to have to not work the next day. That's one of the appeals of,
I'll be honest,
a wet Easter.
It's definitely more of a somber holiday. And I remember my parents were always looking down on me when for me it was a weekend as well. I was a college student, and I wanted to go out on that Friday or Saturday. And then it was well, don't party too much. It's it's a weekend. I'm going to party, and usually the only people out that weekend on Easter are the people that really only want to party. So so it's a good weekend.
Yeah, I would say that Easter is even a more fun dinner than say Christmas Eve. It's a bit more party atmosphere, a bit more. I've been to many an Easter Polish dinner. I always had great crack. Always the whole family's there, everyone's there. Everyone comes over for Easter.
Well, I think actually in England for a long time, or in the UK for a long time, because Friday as well as Monday is a holiday, so it really is a long weekend, and it is famous, aside from chocolate, for the monumental traffic jams, because it's often the first decent weather of the year, and a lot of people jump in their cars and decide to head off somewhere for a long weekend away. And Easter Monday is notorious for being a terrible time for travelling.
What else can we say about Polish Easter, Mike?
Actually, we already mentioned the poor stags that are here, and I'm sorry, that's something I always keep thinking about. It's but Easter in Poland, it's a major holiday to a degree that I just don't remember seeing anywhere else I lived. In the US, it was all about chocolate. It was one day off, and people would forget about it. Here, people still think of it as a major religious holiday. They still see it that way. It's a somber affair, but it's also a family affair. People plan for it for weeks in advance. Kind of the way that Christmas, it's like Christmas but with nice weather.
I always kind of associate it with the World Snooker Championships, quite niche sporting events in the global context. So shows you how Easter was in my house growing up. We loved it. Easter was great, but we didn't go, it wasn't a big, build up. And, it's great the way Polish families take it so seriously, I think, Beautiful tradition, Josh, or more chocolate needed?
Well,
both.
I do fall on the side of the traditionalist side. Actually, I think that if you are serious about Christianity, it probably is the most significant feast in the Christian year. And given that, as you outlined at the beginning, the fundaments of Christianity, then I think it's important that people who believe do celebrate it in a very specific and careful way.
I think it's more just about, family. In Poland, everyone goes home to see everybody, and that's the beautiful thing about it, whether or not you're religious or not. Everybody seems to make that effort at Easter to see their whole family, and that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Mike, any sweet thoughts to end for Easter?
Oh, you want to end on chocolate, don't you? Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, this is Mike from the KrakCast.
Oh, you know something, right? Actually, just to interrupt you as I just asked you a question, sorry. They now produce Cadbury's chocolate in Poland.
They do?
So there could be this kind of instant spike one year where we go from no Easter eggs, Cadbury's Easter eggs, to a whole aisle full of them.
I remember when I was in the US, one of the things I missed from Australia was just plain Cadbury's Dairy Milk chocolate.
Oh,
it's like the simplest chocolate, but it was like...
It's so good.
I just loved it.
Yeah, of course. It was a bit controversial, Josh, when they were bought out by Kraft, which was then bought out by Mondelez.
We speak not of that.
They were also all promised that production would never move out of Bournemouth.
Bourneville,
excuse me. Bournemouth's the seaside town. What an embarrassing faux pas. But what was I saying? No, I'm horrified.
Chocolate and chocolate eggs, yes.
Yeah, but now they recently, they have started producing Cadbury chocolate in their plant in Poland, Kraft, Mondelez, whatever you want to call them. So there's a possible, as bad as that is for the people of Bourneville, there's a possible expansion of Cadbury's in Poland ahead of us. Wouldn't that be exciting, Mike? I love Cadbury's chocolate.
I'd look forward to it as well.
Exciting breaking news from the KrakCast. Possible Cadbury's alert. In Auchan supermarket in Bonarka, they now have a little Cadbury section.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's a bit limited, but it's a start.
Do they stock Bournemouth?
It's so witty. Okay, on that note, we wish you all a happy Easter. Have a great time. Visit your family. Do some nice things, or don't. Just
eat lots of chocolate, but not too much.
And enjoy the eggs.